Okay, so tonight we want to tell you about our adoption story and how we got started. We did a vlog probably about a year ago or so that was kind of similar to this. I know that we have a lot of new subscribers and it's been a while and our family's changed.
Yes.
So we thought tonight we would update you on our family and tell you kind of the backstory of some of our kids and their adoption stories.
Okay, so our story starts when we were married, which was about 11 years ago. And Kylie was around 12 at the time, and she was
from my previous marriage that I had.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And so then we decided that we wanted to have a baby.
Yep.
And then came, about a year after we were married, we got pregnant with Landon. So, our little Landon.
Little Landon.
Well, not so little.
He's not little, he's 10.
He's 10, but fun fact about him is he was born 10 pounds, 4 ounces.
6 ounces. 10 pounds, 6 ounces.
You think I'd remember
and
every
he
ounce.
Was huge.
So big. And in fact, it kind of scared me. And he was 2 weeks early. And when he was born, the doctors and the nurses were like, oh my gosh. Oh, wow. And I thought something was wrong. I'm like, what's wrong? What's wrong? And the doctor says, congratulations, you just birthed a toddler.
He was huge.
So big.
He was like in 12 months clothes right away.
I know. He was so big.
Yeah,
and
he's
still
a big boy.
So is.
Yep. Our first adoption was Cody, Elizabeth, and Lacey. So
Cody's moved out.
Yeah.
So he is 18 now and just graduated high school and moved out. So, but when we got him, he was
11.
You guys were so little.
Yeah, they were so little. Cody was barely to her shoulder.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway, so how we got them was we were only doing sibling groups, and we got a call saying for Cody, saying it was just going to be Cody, and so we said, sorry, you know, we're not going to be able to take him as much as we'd like to, but we're only doing sibling groups. And then they called back like an hour or two later and said, no, they are part of a sibling group. He has 2 sisters, and they were going to split them all up.
Yeah.
And they said, but if you'll take all 3, you know, we'll bring them over to your house.
Yeah.
And so I just knew by the way she talked and everything that we were going to get to adopt them. I just had such a strong feeling. When they first came to us, they didn't have to switch schools because they ended up actually being in the same school district.
Yeah, they weren't far away.
Which was so nice. They were living with their grandma, and we found out about 2 weeks after they were placed with us that she had passed away.
Yeah.
So we felt it was so perfect timing, meant to be.
They walked in so scared and so little, and it was so cute, and we knew right away.
We knew.
And they started
stuck
calling
with
us.
Oh,
yeah, they started calling us mom and dad after 1 day.
They did.
I asked them if
They
call
did.
them mom.
Yeah.
No, Lacey asked them if we could call them
call us mom and
Yeah.
dad.
1 day.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yes.
Sure. Okay, so after we adopted Cody, Elizabeth, and Lacey, we actually thought we were done.
We did. I was
We
like,
did.
yay, we're all done.
But then we got a phone call, and it's like, hey, we have 3 openings in our license.
Yeah.
We
technically had 4 openings
4.
on our license, which that's a
Yeah,
lot of
that's
openings.
true.
So we did get a call that there were 4 siblings that were
They were
ready to be
separated all over the place.
Yeah, so they were in different group homes all over the valley. And so we said, yes, we would love to meet them. And so they went around to each group home and picked them all up with a taxi. There was no caseworker, anything like that. And they were told that they were going to go meet their new family. And the taxi driver shows up, drops them off, didn't even come to the door. And they didn't even know if they had like the right house or anything. So they came up to the door and rang the doorbell, and we opened it to 4 very scared kids.
Yes.
And
we didn't know where they were.
Their first reaction was...
Actually, it was my reaction.
It was her reaction is, you're white. And yeah, we're white.
Yes.
But anyway, we knew it was just perfect. It was going to work out. So there's Destiny, Cynthia, Jonathan, and they have another brother,
Isaac.
Isaac.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Isaac just wasn't really ready for a home, and he wasn't able to stay with us. It didn't work out. We really wanted it to, but it didn't work out. But the three of them got to stay, and it was perfect. Yeah. It was really good. Destiny had a little hard time at first.
We didn't know if she could speak.
We didn't know she was very
like 2
shy.
months, she didn't say a word.
She's been through a lot, and she didn't talk for probably
very long time.
A long time, maybe 2 months.
It was a couple months.
Yeah, and then once she started talking, we were like, oh, honey. And she talked all the time. No, we're glad that she.
I still do.
No, yeah, she still talks all the time. So yeah, but it's great, and we're so excited that they're part of our family.
Braxton and Nevaeh have one of the coolest adoption stories ever.
They do.
Oh, totally. And once again, we did think that we were done. We told everybody we were done.
We were done, but then I got a call.
Yeah.
And the call was from, I knew a lady who worked in a shelter, and she called and said, I know that you're done adopting, but I have this little girl, and she's been here for about a year. She said, I don't know a lot about her, she didn't know a lot about her caseworker because they didn't really know who she was. Well, you're only supposed to be like in a shelter for like maybe a week.
A year for a shelter is a long time.
And so we went and picked her up. We figured out who her caseworker was finally. And about a week later, they sent me paperwork. And when I was going through the paperwork, I saw that she had a big brother who was also in the foster care system.
Yeah.
So we were like,
let's find him.
Let's find him. And we looked and we looked. We had a really hard time finding out. We finally had to contact like previous workers and try to get a hold of them, and we found him.
Finally.
We were so excited. It was such a happy day. So he was with a foster home, and we talked with them, and they agreed that they should be together, and they let us take him.
And his hair was insanely long,
picked him up.
like it was to his shoulders.
Yeah. Really cute.
It was super cute.
But he had a really hard time on the ride home. He was crying, he was upset, he didn't understand. It was just a really rough ride. And so we got home and we opened the door, and Nevaeh was standing there. And we were not expecting a response. No. We didn't know how long. I mean, it obviously probably been over a year since they saw each other. Yeah. But he ran to her and just tackled her on the ground.
Literally
tackled her. And always makes me cry telling the story. And so then they got back up, and we had like a circle in our house, and they would just run that circle for like 2 hours.
Oh, forever.
Just the circle. And she had been so quiet, like we
totally reserved, totally quiet, just kind of scared, just kind of hanging out.
And it was like a whole new Nevaeh.
Oh.
They didn't talk. Their story is really sad. They were homeless for a long time, just really had it rough. And she didn't talk at all, and we found out that he didn't talk at all either. But what was so cool is they could talk to each other. Yes. They had their own language.
Their own language. It made no sense to us whatsoever.
No.
But we just watch them, and they just sit there and talk forever.
That was so cute.
And you didn't have any idea what they were saying, but obviously they knew what each other was saying.
Yeah.
So
anyway, but we just feel so blessed that they came into our lives, and that we got to adopt them, and
that they're part of our family.
They're part of our family, and we just love it.
Our next adoption was actually a group. So first there was 2 brothers, which was Weston and Spencer, and then it also included Jacob and Mason.
Yes.
So, and they're not brothers, but they may as well be.
It just kind of worked out that way, that they all became available at the same time, and so our lawyer was able to do the adoptions all at the same time. So very exciting to be able to share your adoptions with your siblings. When we got Jacob,
she totally tricked me to get Jacob.
Well, so we heard about Jacob, and he said no because it wasn't a sibling group, and that's our passion. And I just couldn't stop thinking about him all weekend.
She kept bringing him up.
I kept bringing him up. I'm like, I think we should. And he's like, no, that's not what we're doing. Group. And so I told the caseworker, like, I think I can convince Jared if we just like take him for a weekend. And she was like, oh yeah, that's totally fine. So then I went to him and I said, hey, they just need us to take him. It'll just be for the weekend.
Like,
and
sure.
and then once he met Jacob,
I was like, oh, he's perfect.
he's perfect. Of course he could be part of our family,
Yeah.
so he fits right in.
Yeah.
So, and him and Landon and Mason, they're just best friends and so meant to be.
Mason's story is a little different. He was actually supposed to be very temporary. And
Yeah.
we actually picked him up from the airport.
Well, they told us
Yeah.
that, listen, we just have a little boy that needs to be picked up from the airport. We'll figure out a home for him tomorrow. And I said, oh yes, we can absolutely help you with that.
Yeah.
So we picked him up from the airport. He thought that he was gonna go straight to his biological dad. He didn't understand. And so he had kind of a rough night, and then when he realized, that he wasn't going with his dad, he was sad.
Yeah.
But when they called us the next day and said they were looking, I said, don't even look, we would
just
love to
keep
have
him.
him.
He's
He
so good.
fits right in. It's
Yeah.
perfect. So glad to
Good
have
little
him.
man.
Yes. Now Weston
and Spencer, they have kind of a cool, weird story. Cody was always telling us about his friends at school.
yeah,
and
my
stuff
friend's
like
a
that,
foster
yeah.
kid, my friend,
Yeah.
and they were telling us on our side of it, like, hey, we have these two boys, one of them's 16, and I was like, oh, we don't want another 16-year-old because we
Yeah.
already had Cody. And then we found out that it was all the same.
It was the
that
same. It was
Cody's friend
Cody's
was the
friend.
friend that they were trying, and so we thought, how meant to be was that? And so of course
Yeah, we took them
we
both
wanted
in.
to take them
Yeah,
in.
and they're
So
awesome.
They're
I'm glad
awesome. It
we
worked
did.
out great, and they all got adopted together. So
Yeah.
perfect.
So Addison, Aubrey, and Harlan's story is kind of a little nuts because in their case, once again, we did think we were done, but they gave us a call and they said, you guys are our last resort.
The only hope they have to keep them all together
Yeah.
is if you can take them.
Yep.
And yes, that's our
So we're like,
passion. Of course, we're going to take
done.
them. So
Yeah.
we took them all in. They were a sibling group of 4. Unfortunately, one of the adoptions just wasn't going to happen. It wasn't able to. So,
Yeah.
but it's been great.
Yes, they are so
Definitely
awesome.
fit in. Definitely part of the family. They have such great personalities, and we just love them.
Yeah. Kayson, little man, is our most recent adoption, and he is the sweetest little guy.
Yes.
We were actually mentoring his older brother, who's much older than him, and our goal was to get them together as best we can. Unfortunately, it didn't work out that way for his older brother, but we're so happy
so
to have him.
excited
He
to
is the
have
cutest,
him.
sweetest little boy. He's awesome, aren't you? That's how we built our crazy family.
Thanks for watching. Bye.